Oh gosh, I would call it Jesus Christ, my Savior. Before I got Sisterlocks, which is the style of dreaded hair that I have, I had relaxed hair, I braided my hair, I even had a jerry curl, which I tend to forget until I see young photos of myself. But for me, this was like the most freeing hairstyle that I've had, because I've never been one of those girls who really, you know, fusses over her hair. It's important to me and I want to look good, but I don't want to have to do a lot to maintain it. And I was never really taught how to take care of it myself, because I have an older sister and my mom, so they always did it. And so as I became older, it was just like, why am I doing this? I don't want to maintain it. And I finally got dreaded on March 19th, 2006. I remember the date perfectly. 34 hours of work to parts and to get the dreadlocks started. And at that stage in the US, it wasn't yet okay to have dreaded hair if you're like a professional. And so for me, it was a big decision, but I was like, you know what, I don't care, because this is, you know, it looks gorgeous and it's something that I could see myself with long term. And so ever since, it's been like a new birth for me, because I just wake up every day and I go, it doesn't matter, like put it in a ponytail, wear it down, put it up in a bun, and you know, styles that are good for me on the go. Look, I need to reclaim my hair, and one of the things I never liked about getting my hair relaxed or even the jerry curl is like you have to keep up with so many products and so many rituals, and I felt like my hair was living my life and I wasn't. And I just needed a change, because it really did take over my life. I mean, you got carrot oil, coconut food, all these weird random things that you had to put in your hair to make it presentable. And so for me, changing that and going to this style was like an awakening, because even though it was like really, really short when it started, from when my hair had been cut short, you know, now it's like really, really long. And so I feel like, oh, you know, back to my normal self, and just much more at peace, I would say. I'll never forget, it was, I believe it was 2003, and I had come back from a vacation in Cancun with my friends in college. And so when I got back, like my hair was really damaged, but I was like, okay, I don't care if it's damaged, just, you know, don't cut it, because I'm fine, like it'll be okay. And so I was sitting there and she's like, oh, I'm just gonna trim a little off the ends because it's dead. And I said, okay. And then my hair was like literally up here, and I burst into tears because mine was like past my shoulders, and it was a lot of hair to lose. And for me, that was super traumatic. Like I told my mom, I will never go there again. You know, some of my family laughed at me just because I was so hysterical, but it was something that really impacted me, because not only did I tell her not to cut it, but she did it anyway, and then cut it so short. And I felt like, what's that character, Samson, who, you know, his strength was sapped when the hair was cut. And this was the same woman who, you know, we had our jerry curls done with her when we went to relaxers, we did that. So it was another kind of painful moment, because she was like family in some senses, but, you know, did something that was unacceptable to me as a professional. When I first moved to London, I was working with a woman, and she was fantastic, but I was having hair loss at my temples. And, you know, when I came here, which was 2011, I had had my style for 5 years. And then when I had that hair loss, she's telling me, oh, you're doing this or you're doing that. And I'm like, no, I haven't changed for 5 years. And so I did tests and everything just to confirm. And I just felt like she wasn't listening to me, and because hair is so important, I said, no, I have to get out of this situation. And so I found Miss Smith, who I'm working with now, and I really like it because she listens to me. And I think sometimes you have hairstylists who just don't listen because they think they know better, and that was difficult for me because I felt like I was breaking up with a boyfriend. I was like, I didn't want to send the text. I felt like guilty, but at the end of the day, I had to make a decision that was best for me and my hair. I work a lot internationally, and so one of the things that I have hated and found insulting is like they're usually like, ah, Rasta, Rastafarian, and I feel insulted only because I'm like, that's actually a religion and people take that very seriously. So to see me and say Rasta, like, it's insulting to this religion. And then also sometimes, especially in Asia, people make the assumption that I do drugs or I sell drugs because I have this hairstyle. And so in that respect, you know, in the line of work that I do, because I have to work with people from literally every country in the world, and that has been challenging, just kind of changing that misconceived notion. I don't think that it is my responsibility to teach people, but I do like to be an example and say, hey, not everyone who has dreads is a Rastafarian or does drugs, and even if I did, so what? Like, this is my hair, and, you know, let that speak for itself. And it's becoming even more acceptable for men, because for them, that, I think I would say that was one of the very racialized things, one of the systematic things that was used anyway to oppress black men in the US was, if you have dreads, these same kind of, you know, preconceived notions about people. And so for me, definitely having dreadlocks has been eye-opening to see, like, people like, you're Jamaican. And it's like, I wish I knew if I was, you know, like, you know, it's absurd, because if I had relaxed hair or a jerry curl, no one would say anything at all like that. So it's really powerful to me how, you know, a particular country or religion or culture came to be associated with just one hairstyle. I'm actually not bothered by that. You know, I think, like my mom, she is 63, or gonna be 63 this year, and she has her hair dyed blonde. And one of the weird things about me is that I've never wanted to do anything to my hair. I've never colored my hair at all. You know, I think it's become tinted from the years when I did relaxer or swimming, but I've never done anything like that. And for me, I think that's one too many things to keep up with. If I dye it, then you have to keep dyeing it, and it never stops, and you never get that natural hair color back. And for me, like, I don't even have a tattoo, and I want to stay natural in that respect. And so I have some gray hairs, but I don't mind. Like, I think the gray hair looks beautiful. I think it's so cool. And you see nowadays people trying to dye their hair gray to get that look, and I feel like once it comes, I'll be ready for it. For me, like, I have never felt free. As I said, like, Jesus Christ, my Savior. I'm not even religious, but I felt such freedom when I transitioned. And it's interesting that, you know, there's still, I think, tension between women who have natural hair and women who don't. And I don't like it, because I think it should be a conversation for sure, but more of a conversation about why do you still do that, because there are alternatives where you can achieve the same look without, you know, lining someone else's pockets to basically do harm to yourself and to the environment. I feel sexy. Like, when I wear my hair up, I do it in this big, neat, tight bun, and it's like gigantic, and it just accentuates my face, and it gives me an air of royalty. When I wear that hairstyle, and usually with a dress or something like that, like, I remember one time at work, I had on this blue shirt that really complemented my top very, very well. I wore like a choker and then matching earrings, and then my hair up, and people just, you know, stopped, because they were like, wow, you look so incredible. And I think for me, that style is just also indicative of, like, having that flexibility to do whatever you want. And for me, if my hair was shorter, I can pretty much only have it one way. So I like having those options, even if, like, 80% of the time I'm like ponytail back, like how I have it now, because I'm not trying to impress anyone. You know, I think that's been one of the most liberating things about being with my husband, because he was also like, why are you relaxing? This smells awful, you know, just go to your natural hair. And he is like obsessed with my hair because it's like, it's so beautiful and you look so beautiful and it smells so good. And that, like, knowing that and then going out and having that particular hairstyle, it's like all of that, you know, I feel like I embody the goddess, the earth.